Damn, I don't know what's the last thing y'all heard. Shit. Check. Can y'all hear me? Check, check, check. Y'all missed 5 minutes. Hold on. Let me go back and see what y'all how much. Check, 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 check. All right. Y'all didn't miss anything. Because I was just looking. I was looking for this paperwork. So y'all didn't miss anything. I wasn't saying nothing. Yeah, y'all ain't miss anything. All right. So this is the cop that um that testified in the grand jury. So when they question him, they say, "So I'm going to pull this up." I know it's slightly. Just give it a second. Hopefully, so the old Maximum was basically at the corner of Flamingo and Koval. Yes, it was. He says, and there was a parking garage, or is a parking garage, sort of on the corner here of the southeast corner property. Yes, it was a little bit because there was some parking available in front. But yes, okay. And are you on the first floor or second floor or third floor, or do you remember? I was on the third floor at the time. And was this a standard type parking garage that you have here in Las Vegas where, you know, the interior, there's a wall, but it's open air between the top and the bottom? Yes. While you are there with some police officers, were you there investigating an incident unrelated to why were you here today? Correct. And as you were there, did something unusual happen or did you hear something unusual? Yeah, gunfire erupted on Flamingo. Approximately how many? Well, first of all, it all one set of gunfire or were there multiple volleys? It was multiple volleys. It was like I want to say I want to say probably 3 volleys of maybe 6 to 10 rounds each volley. It was very pop, 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 pop. When that happened, what did it tell? And when that happened, what did you do? We ran towards the sound of the gunfire. And I was on security at the time, and I had leaned over the barrier to see what was going on, essentially. And the two Metro officers were behind me. And I remember one of them had dropped his radio and it had broken. It came apart, and the other officer ran to the car to pursue. When you got to the wall, and I'm assuming then you're looking out from the parking garage down onto Flamingo. Flamingo, what did you see? I see a line of cars The light was red, so the cars would stop. And I saw people outside of the vehicles in the traffic lane. Okay. And did you see any of those people armed with a weapon? Yes. There was one black male adult, athletic, wearing a very bright white shirt, a black vest, black slacks, and black shoes. And he was carrying, I could see it, it was a semi-automatic pistol, right? So that goes to show y'all that it wasn't just a drive-by in a Cadillac, right? And for all y'all that's gonna say, "Oh, it was Buntry. Buntry got out and shot back at the Cadillac." Buntry had on all white. Go look at the goddamn MGM video and look at Buntry's clothes. He's wearing all white that night, and he was pointing. And was he pointing it at any particular direction? Not at the time I saw it. It was kind of well. I mean, it was in his hand. Okay. At the time you see that, do you initially draw a conclusion as to who might be the shooter? I assume that was the shooter because that was the only person I saw with the weapon very shortly after hearing the gunfire. And as you watching down into this line of vehicles, did you see what those vehicles then did? Well, the vehicles actually had made a U-turn from not the left lane, but the center lane. Made a U-turn on Flamingo and headed towards Las Vegas Boulevard. And did you see more than one of them? Yeah, there were several vehicles. There was a white, if I can remember correctly, I believe it was a white Dodge Stratus four-door. There was the black BMW. There was another smaller car that was dark in color, and then there was a white Chevy Suburban. So there's a number of vehicles then that make a U-turn, and you saw those vehicles do a U-turn and go in this direction, head towards Las Vegas Boulevard. Were any of the people that were out of the vehicles, did you did they get back into those vehicles that wound up doing the U-turn and going in that direction? Yes. All of the people that I had seen went back into the vehicles, they were making U-turns. So they were all in this convoy type of. And when you realize or you believe that now the shooters are going westbound on Flamingo, do you rely any information to the police? Yeah. At the point the officers had gotten down to the exit, they had looked up at me from their windows and I was just pointing at them to make a right and head towards Las Vegas Boulevard. Now, the Cadillac made a right on uh Colval. It didn't make a U-turn. Yeah, at that point, the police officers had gotten down to the exit. They had looked up at me from their windows, and I was just pointing at them to make a right and head towards Las Vegas Boulevard. So the officers that you're at least talking to, you're trying to communicate to them, hey, the guy who is the shooter is headed in that direction. Correct. So what does that tell y'all? Right? That all the cars that was with them that made a U-turn. Remember, the white Cadillac made the right. The Sebring with the girls in it made the right. Buntry and them chased the car. They made the right. The person with the gun that he's saying is the shooter went and got back in the car and made the U-turn. Now, what do that tell you? What do that tell you? One, it wasn't just the white Cadillac. Suge told you it was several shooters, and he said that there was shooters on foot. And the shooter made a U-turn that made a right. Not made a right. Remember, the white Cadillac made the right. The girls, the witnesses said the white Cadillac, they made the right after the white Cadillac and they started shooting back at them. Buntry made the right, right? The person that was on foot didn't make the right.